am the Boss Man. Boss Man here, and today I want to talk to you about Majora's Mask 3D and the successful operation. You see, I was a founding member of Operation Moonfall, which was a fan movement to try to create Majora's Mask 3D, or try to get Nintendo to create Majora's Mask 3D. And it worked. Kind of. It took 3 years since we launched the campaign. I mean, man, it's been 3 years. We launched it towards the end of 2011. It was initially launched by ZeldaInformer.com, but it wasn't really launched alone, if that makes sense. Alex Plant, who was a senior editor at the time, came up with the name and encouraged me to get the movement going at Zelda Informer. I think we had Miles. I can't pronounce his name. It's a foreign European name, I believe. He was running kind of the initial idea for it over at Zelda Universe. And then Zelda Dungeon kind of came in a little late after we launched it to show their support. And there's a lot of people that have been involved with it over the years. There was Lyndon Willoughby, who did the poster campaign for it last year. I believe it was last year. And then there was Cody from Zelda Universe. He's one of the admins of the Operation Moonfall Facebook page. So we've had a lot of support in terms of coming from the fan sites when this whole project came together. And I've been the one kind of keeping it going from day one. I made the initial post on Zelda Informer. I created the Facebook page and the Twitter. And I actually created the petition, which is 55,000 plus strong. But that's all kind of irrelevant because Operation Moonfall worked and it didn't work. At least not as I intended it to work. But reality is that Majora's Mask 3D is coming. That's what this episode's about. You got the Majora's Mask official fan art over here, one of them. I'm wearing my Majora's Mask shirt. That's what we're talking about today. And I just want to say one last thing about the actual movement. A big thanks goes out to the fans. Really, you guys are the ones that kept it going. After the first year of Operation Moonfall, I kind of shut it down, as it were. In that first year, we were recognized by E.G. Inomu. He said that he recognized the fan movement and that it was happening, which is exactly what E.G. Inomu wanted to happen back in 2011 when he said, hey, if fans kind of came together and demanded it, they would get it done. So in that sense, Operation Moonfall worked. We kind of served our purpose. Our purpose was to show that that demand existed. That what E.G. Inomu wanted to make the game, to help convince his fellow people at Nintendo, happened. It worked. And while that happened, I personally sort of let the movement fall to the wayside. Now, I still did a few things. I worked with Lyndon Willoughby on the poster campaign. I still kept the Facebook page active. I kind of ignored the Twitter. Sorry, Twitter people. And I didn't really mention the movement too much. Zelda Informer obviously still had a heavy dose of Majora's Mask editorials, which you could argue were helping support Majora's Mask 3D. But at the end of the day, I feel the fans are really the ones that made this happen. Now, obviously, it took fans to even have enough demand, and we had 45,000 plus on Facebook, and it probably could have been a lot bigger than that if I didn't let the movement kind of die out after that first year. But reality is, we got it done. Majora's Mask 3D is here, so thank you all the fans, all the artists, Zelda Williams, anybody else, even Robin Williams, rest in peace, for showing support for this movement and for Majora's Mask 3D. So it's here. I'm happy. I'm excited. I know there's a lot of fans that'll be, Nate said it was never going to come. That was an actual comment on her announcement piece, and I never said that. I always thought Majora's Mask 3D was going to come. I didn't think it was coming now, or so soon. I thought maybe 2016. That was about the earliest. I figured we just had Hyrule Warriors. We have Zelda U next year. I figured if they were spreading things out, we could maybe get Majora's Mask 3D in 2016 with a new handheld game in 2017, and then maybe, if we're lucky, a new console game in 2018. And if not a new console game then maybe another remake another HD remastering, probably for their new home console at the time. Ooh. Edit that out, Nate. So, where do we go from here? Well, first off, for anyone who already thought that Zelda Informer was really just Majora's Mask Informer, I apologize, because that's going to happen still. In fact, if you thought we were Majora's Mask Informer before, we're probably not going to do much to change your opinion of that in the next 4 to 5 months. This is the Zelda news now. This is the game coming out. It is coming out next year, in the spring. Hyrule Warriors has kind of gone and passed. We'll still talk about the DLC for it. We do have the DLC coming for Mario Kart 8 on the 13th, so we'll be talking about that, and I'll probably talk about that a bit in my next Boss Man. And we're doing a few new things like game night and everything, but at the end of the day, today is about Majora's Mask, and the next 4 or 5 months are going to be about Majora's Mask. And I apologize to anybody who's really sick of Majora's Mask. But here's a fun fact, and I don't know whether I should be happy or kind of let down by this. We got more traffic the day Majora's Mask was announced because of the Majora's Mask pieces than we got when Zelda U was announced. Now, there's factors that you could say are unfair in this comparison. We have about 100,000 more Facebook people, more likes, as it were, more fans on Facebook than we did then. We have, I think, 5,000 more Twitter followers. So we do have a bigger following in social media, so you could argue that because we have a bigger following now, it's a bit unfair to say, oh, Majora's Mask 3D had more traffic for us than Zelda U did, when comparatively we're drawing on a bigger fan base. But at the end of the day, I always figured Zelda U would be huge, be massive, that people wouldn't be able to stop talking about it. And we kind of stopped talking about it, and Nintendo stopped talking about it, which is kind of why it's fallen by the wayside. I know there's some people that said, oh, this was announced so we could forget about Zelda U, that they're not as far in development and they just don't want to talk about it. I don't think any of that's true. I think they didn't talk about Zelda U because it's not coming out in spring 2015. I think every game they announced is coming out in Q1 or Q2 next year. Zelda U is not probably coming out until Q3, maybe Q4 at the latest, which would leak into 2016, but it's probably Q3, so it hits in the holidays. I think that they announced this now because Majora's Mask is ready and it's coming next year within the window they wanted to talk about games. It's really that simple, and I'm so happy. I can't wait to show my kids and show the kids I worked with at a school where I have 35 students. I can't wait to show them Majora's Mask and see if they get the feeling I did when I was younger playing the game. I've been a Majora's Mask fan since it came out. I know there's a lot of stigma that Zelda Informer staff and Zelda Informer fans and Majora's Mask fans are all new. They created a cult movement, and Majora's Mask isn't really that great. Everyone at Zelda Informer, at least that I'm aware of, liked the game since it came out. Even today, even with our new staff, everyone seems to have liked it since it came out. So I don't really know how that's a valid argument. But again, this just relates to our community. There's always the question of how popular Majora's Mask is, and I think we'll see that when we get the final sales numbers for Majora's Mask 3D. At the end of the day, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone. You guys made it happen. From Alex Plant, to Milas, to Cody, to the fans, to Lyndon Willoughby, to... there was a person I hired as an admin of the page. I can't remember their name. I'm sorry for forgetting your name. They wrote a couple Majora's Mask articles exclusive to the Facebook page. I just want to say thank you, and I'm excited. Are you excited? Because even if you hated the game and you didn't want it remade and you were sick of people talking about it, it's done. It's over. We don't have to talk about it anymore. It's happening. Well, we're going to talk about it, but we don't have to beg for it anymore, if that makes sense. Majora's Mask 3D, it's here. Sorry if this episode felt rambly, but hey, I'm a fan like everybody else, and Operation Moonfall, it's a success. What's next?